So I had a crazy dream yesterday. This morning wasn't so bad. This morning's dream, I can't remember all of it, but I was yard sale shopping on a pastor's porch, and he went and got some baby clothes that had stains on it that they were getting rid of, and I was buying them for my RZ Rapunzel doll project. Excuse me. I'm sorry if my eyes are a bit red. I was brushing my teeth this morning, and I guess the fumes of it, plus the really, really dry air in my sinuses, was causing me to gag. So, anyway, I'd fallen asleep on the couch yesterday, and I wish I hadn't, for two reasons. One, my back's been all messed up for the rest of the day and all night, and it still hurts now. In fact, I have a heating pad on it right now. But it was, I'd say, after 3 o'clock, and I kind of passed out in the middle of a show on the couch next to Charlie here. And let's see if I can remember all the details. It was very, very vivid. We were a part of a military team. I want to say it was an American team. And we were wearing special uniforms. They were all gray and matte and very boring. Um, I don't even remember us having like American emblems. We might have had ranking emblems on us. Um, but we were in agreement with the Russians to go into this bunker and root out um, a problem, which I think was a German or a couple Germans that were in there. I can't remember exactly what it was or the names of the nations. But I think we were going into Russian territory, which we knew was kind of enemy, and we were expecting them to betray us. We were like, we're pretty sure this is a trap, but we're going to go ahead with it. Um, and he lets us into the base, and you open up this door and come into what looks like a bunker, um, all walled up with cinder blocks and painted white, very stark white. And as you walk through here, you're following him. Um, I started getting the feeling that it's very easy to get lost in here. You're gonna get lost in here. It's intentional this way so that enemies come in and get trapped in here, and then they have you. Um, because there was like no maps. He said there's no map, but it's really easy. You turn this way and follow that way, and he's naming these places. And while I'm kind of rushing on ahead to go with my group and to see where the final destination is, I've got in my head. I have. I have. I don't know that I'm going to be able to figure out how to get out of here. Um, what was interesting that um, at the beginning, when he let us in, though, is it looked like a normal like storage room. We were in a back room somewhere. It looked like a normal storage room with like gray wallpaper on the walls, and he pushed this part of the wall in, and you could see this recess um, cut out in the wallpaper, push into the wall, and a low door frame that had to have been. Well, I'm 5'6". I don't know what I was in the dream, but it was shorter than me. That you had to like duck in and step up at the same time. It was an awkward entrance, but once you got in there, that's when you get into this maze of almost. It was really weird. It was like a combination between a medical facility or a school. It was, kind of, I wouldn't say sterile, but it was definitely a hidden bunker. It wasn't set up for aesthetics other than the fact that they painted all the walls white, and you could tell there was like layers of white paint because it was smooth, and there was a gloss to the white paint. And then there were like little plaque signs here and there, maybe to tell you to go this way or that way, but like we weren't taking the time to look at them. And after my dream, I felt like maybe we should have been. But anyway, so we get in there and we're chasing them down, and I decide I'm going to double back because I feel like I'm about to be lost, and all of my team is about to be lost. We're all going to be stationed in different parts here, and we're supposed to be communicating through walkie talkie, and that's how we're going to get back out. We're going to know when it's time to go, and we're going to create a chain and, head back out. So I'm back in the main room that's kind of set up like a kitchen, like somebody's home kitchen. It looks like, I can't say it's a Russian kitchen. I wouldn't say it's a very, very modern kitchen. Um, it's a little bit of a dated kitchen, but it doesn't have a whole lot of markings in it either. There's a chair guard along the wall. Um, Everything looks nice and kept up and almost fairly new, but you can tell it's older. Anyway, so I'm waiting there, and I go back to our our exit out of this room, and I'm looking out across the lawn. And I'm not sure how I have this door because later I don't. Um, so I'm looking out across this lawn, and I see people hiding in the grass that I believe in the dream I think was our team. Um, and they're getting ready to go, and then our walkies start going crazy. They start breaking up, and you can hear our team panicking. They're starting to walk each other, and I can't hear you. You're breaking up, and how are we going to do this? We need these. We're going to have to fall back on our secondary means of communication, and which I think was whistling. I think we were trying to think back in our training what our secondary training was. Oh, and I forgot to mention when I was following him through this maze really quickly in my team, trying to find out where our end is, I was starting getting nauseated in the dream of running really quickly through these circles, basically. Square, turn this way, turn that way, and I was starting to get nauseated at the speed we were going. So I'm out there waiting, and I'm hearing us all, our whole team, start to panic. And like, we're going to have to rely on our secondary means of communication. And some of them were like, I don't know what that is. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to whistle at each other? Clap, just holler? I'm like, a lot of the group was like, well, that'll give away our position. So we don't want to do that. Like the walkies are making any less noise at this point. They've all gone into white noise and squealing. So anybody can hear where we are. Somebody down the line, whether they were in charge over me or they had been in charge over me at some point, said, turn off your walkies. And I'm like, some of us need to keep them on and maybe turn them down really low in case they do start working again so that we know that they're working again. But yeah, there's a lot of noise coming from these. So I just turned mine down way low, and I could hear still radio chatter and the squawking of like feedback and stuff. It was clear somebody had turned something on that was interfering with our radios. And so here it is. We are just waiting. Once our tail end reaches the other end, it'll begin. The extraction will begin, basically. Um, and then I hear chaos and stuff coming up the halls, and here it comes. It's coming up the halls, and I can tell, it's a fight. It wasn't supposed to be this noisy or this much of a fight, but here it is coming up the halls and winding its way and succeeding, making its way back to us. But I don't know how much of our crew is surviving this. And in fact, it sounds like our crew is getting slaughtered. Um, I don't know who's going to make it out of there. And if they are alive, I don't know if they're going to make it out. Um, but I'm waiting at my station, and my mom comes out, and like in the dream, she was my mom, and we were on common ground in that way. I believe she looked like my mom in real life, but she was wearing a long tan trench coat with really large lapels, which is not like her style at all. And it had the sash belt as well. That's not really my mom's style. She doesn't wear stuff like that, but in this she was. And it was almost like a 50s or a step back in time kind of look and style, but I couldn't quite see her clothes. If I could see anything, it was probably a flowered um, uh, dress that you could work in the kitchen with, like you would have in the 50s, look good but also work kind of thing. And she comes into the kitchen. I'm like, Mom, you gotta get out of here. We gotta go. I need you to go through this door right now. So, I push the panel in the wall and it opens up and I'm trying to get her to go into it. And she's like, yeah, but first I have to take off my coat. So she's gonna go take off her coat and hang it on the wall next to the hole, the escape hatch. And she's not listening. She's not doing it. In fact, she's starting to panic the more I'm telling her, you need to go in here because they're coming and you're going to be dead. We're dead. We're so dead. You have to go in there. Of course, that's not helping, but I don't realize that because in the moment I'm like, urgency. This is all there is. There is urgency. You have to go. Um, and she's wanting to putz in the kitchen and go into kitchen mode, which is, makes her at peace. And that's what she's trying to do, is go into kitchen mode. And I'm trying to get her to go in the hole to get out, which I don't know why the hole is now the escape. Now that I'm awake and talking about it, I don't know why that hole is now the escape, because earlier that was what we were coming out of. And I'm like, okay, if you're not going to go through there, there's only one way out of here. And this is like the worst case scenario. We have to go out the way we came, which is out that door. And so we turn to go out the door, and she's going to grab her coat. And I open the door, and it's a diner full of people. Um, Crap. This is bad. This is really bad. We have to come through here, and they know I'm an American soldier and I'm the enemy. And I guess it was a diner full of definitely Europeans by their looks. There's some really old people and like maybe one or two young people, but they're not even sitting together. They're like lonely young people and an old couple, and just people doing their diner thing where they come in and they order their usual and they sit there and eat and drink coffee. But we got to go through this. Oh yeah, and they were smoking cigarettes too, because um there was like that moment. I'm like, no, 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 I'm with you. And I try to quote the other guy's name and say, I'm part of the extract team and don't shoot, don't panic. Um, and instead, I watch them panic and go to kill me, I guess. But my reaction was that they were trying to kill me. And I thought I saw somebody pull up a gun and point it at me. And so I shoot. I think I shot him in the hand. I can't remember where I shot, but I shot. And they're alarmed. They're like, it was just a cigarette. And then I realized watching it fall and the lighter fall, yeah, it was just a cigarette. And of course, this triggered. So the rest of the diners go into fight or flight mode and pull guns. The waitress uh, slash cashier goes for a gun, and they all go for guns, and some of them go for the door, but most of them go to kill the rat that came out of the kitchen, basically, was the idea. And so I just start shooting. I feel like, I'd never done this before, but it had to be done. I had to protect us. I had to get out alive. I had to get me and my mom out alive, and that was the bottom line at that point, because she must have been the target. And if she wasn't, she was for me now. That was it. She and I were getting out. It sounded like everybody else was dead. I was not getting back up, and I gotta make my way through this. So I start shooting, and I'm surprisingly quicker on the draw, even though this is a whole crowd, and I'm knocking them down. Some of them I'm I'm just disabling, which is great. But they're not all leaving after they've been disabled. They go down, which is a problem for me because we still have to walk through this. Um, so finally, they decide this is a losing battle, and the somebody shouts, "Everybody out of the diner!" And so there's this flood where they all start running out, and right near the end there, an old man pulls out this tiny. It wasn't quite a Derringer, but it wasn't much bigger. It was a revolver. I think it was a 6-shooter revolver pistol. It might have been more though, because he only had 4 bullets in it in the end. There was only 4 bullets. So he pulls it out, and aims it at me, and his wife's like, "Don't be stupid," whatever his name is, let's go," and she's tugging on him trying to get him out because she don't want him dead, and she's watched me nearly or exactly kill people with my skills, and she's tugging on him, "Come on, George," or whatever, "let's go, don't be stupid." He's like, "No, I've had enough of these people walking all over my country," or whatever. He's gonna do the hero thing, and he goes to shoot, and I shoot first. I think I think at this point I'm actually on top of him and I don't shoot. I break his wrist. And this is why I know I do this, because in my dream I hear the disgusting, sickening crunch sound and watch his wrist flop backwards, and you can see like the carpals are in the wrong place, and the gun comes out of his hand, and I grab the gun and I quickly flip it open and dump the bullets out, and that's the moment where I see like 4 bullets spaced out in there, like there's it's not a full chamber, and there's missing pieces, and I dump that into my hand, and I go to throw it on the floor, and something in me says, hold on to that, save that. So I put the bullets in one pocket. I actually put the bullets in my left hand into my left pocket, and the gun into my right pocket, and don't even finish closing it. I just like plop it in my pocket. She grabs her husband and she's like, "You fool, you old fool," and drags him out. And at this point, the diner is practically empty. The panic is out in the streets and it's flooding away, which is great. That's what we need. If there are any of my troop behind me, this is it. We gotta go. But I'm not really thinking about them very much, other than I've cleared a path. And my mom has to come with me now. Um, but I'm keeping her behind me in the kitchen that we came from, because there's still someone in the diner. And this husky lady that looks like Bismuth from Steven Universe. You can't tell whether it's male or female, but it's something in you that's a female. She's so husky and bulky, but she's kind of short too. She's shorter than me, and she's like gonna do this. She's gonna be the hero. She's gonna bring down this American, this invader, and she stays in the diner and she's ready to go. She's ready to go. I'm like, crap, get out, go. I don't want to have to kill you. Get out. No, she's not having it. She's ducking under the tables and stuff. And at this point, the tables don't look like diner tables as much anymore. They start to look like those school lunch tables. I've been in a number of schools, so I don't know if your school had lunch tables like this, but there's, flat, the flat table that's made out of, oh crap, now I can't remember the name of it, but um it's kind of a plastic surface, but it's really kind of tough plastic. And then there's these metal legs that curve underneath and come up to seats that have like part of a back, and they're made out of like nasty, ugly 50s plastic or something. And she's hiding between these, and I'm like, I'm not going to get a clear shot. When I come to grab her, she's got all kinds of stuff to duck under and hold on to under there. This is going to suck, but I have to get her out of here to get my mom through here, because all it takes is for her to jump out and grab my mom. Like, I don't know, I don't know how nimble she would be, but she must have been like a pit bull, because I was enough that I'm not going to just try to walk past this. So I've tried like thinking out punches I can do, or shooter or something, and none of this is coming. And so I remember in my dream, this is insane. I grab a barber's chair that must not have been welded into the floor, drag it across the floor, lift it up over my head, and chuck it at her, hoping something will break and hit her. Something will go through between those things and hit her. And I do. It something falls between the two chairs that she's hiding between, and comes down and knocks, not out, but really hits her and comes down on her. And she's cussing at me and crawling out from under it and ready to go. And I come at her, and like I must have been out of bullets, or I was too close range to even try gun at this point. And I'm grappling with her, and my first move, I remember in my dream doing something stupid. I'm like, that was stupid. I slip up and should be in a position where she would be over me and winning. She should be able to just like sit on top of me and wail at my face or something like that. But I do this nimble thing real quick and turn the tables again. And at this point, both of us lean back and I shove. I push her forward really, really hard. And she goes into the counter in front of her, which is a sink, which I don't know how there was a sink in this part of the dining room, but it was a sink and it was a solid counter. And I heard this sickening crack. In my dream, my stomach turned, hearing her skull, this side, literally the right side, hit the counter and listen to it. Sounded like her skull turned to mush, like crack. And she, falls back and I can see the giant welt and kind of like soft tissue going on there and go down. And I'm like, good. I don't know how out she is, but that's enough for me and my mom to get through. And I'm having this moment in the dream. At this point, there's this weird thing because it's almost like we're doing this in front of a live audience and people are cheering me on or cheering her on. Like when I made that stupid move, like, oh, that was a dumbass move. That was stupid. She's gonna lose. She's gonna lose. And then like they're telling me which punches to throw and stuff like that, or dodge and this sort of thing. And some of them are, telling her stuff. And it was almost like an interview happens at this point. Once I whack her head on the sink, they're like, have you ever done that before? You ever done anything like that before? And I don't remember now the words, but basically I overheard, if you've never done anything like that before, it might make you sick. And I'm like, yes, yes, I'm feeling nauseated, but I'm not saying this to them. I'm doing the cool, hard, cold, yes, but I've won and we're going to be all right. We're getting out of here. And that's when I woke up. I jumped up out of the couch and stumbled off towards the kitchen, opened the back door to let the dog out, and in that process of getting from the couch through the doorway of the hall, I let out this mighty burp. So I must have had nausea from gas. Let out a burp. But that was a pretty weird, intense dream, and I keep having weird, intense dreams. And my sister said I should keep recording them, and I haven't been lately because I don't have the time or I need to go back to sleep or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know that there's any meaning in that. I am not a soldier. I have never been a soldier. In that dream, I had never done anything like that to anybody. In real life, I have definitely never done anything like that to anybody. I've never lifted a barber's chair over my head. Even in the dream, I thought like I shouldn't physically be able to do this, but it must have been one of those adrenaline moments where you just freak out and do the thing. So anyway, that's it, and I'm gonna post this raw because if I watch it again, I won't post it. I'll go, ew, I hate the way I look, I hate the way I sound, and I won't post it. And there is no point to these videos other than somebody else can come across it and watch it or listen to it and go, oh, that's weird, that's cool, whatever, whatever. So, be safe out there.